Update 1 on Cyclone Hudhud, which is located just off the coast of India as a Category 3 storm with winds of 125 miles per hour and a pressure of around 941 millibars. Its position 16.3 degrees north, 84.8 degrees east in the Bay of Bengal as of 3 p.m. UTC, October the 11th. Further intensification could be possible before landfall in the Andhra Pradesh region as a Category 4 storm, quite potentially. Could be the situation there at landfall, but either way, it's going to be a major storm by the time it does make landfall. Category 3 appears to be assured. As it moves inland, it's likely to weaken rather quickly. Could still be a tropical storm in 2 days' time, but it seems quite apparent that the storm will dissipate at around the 72-hour mark. But in any case, there's going to be possibly extensive damage along the coast, heavy flooding as well. Here's the latest radar imagery of the past few hours as the storm approaches the coast of eastern India. You can see the eye wall and of course the eye in the centre of the storm edging closer towards the coast. Not the quickest moving storm I've ever seen, and that's why it may take up to 12 hours or more for the storm to finally make its landfall in India, and that could possibly be bad news for the coast in terms of the spiral bands washing ashore and could cause flooding and significant storm surge. The sea surface temperatures around the storm remain very warm, around 29 to 30 degrees Celsius, certainly warm enough for potential further development, as is the case with wind shear remaining very favourable as well. Low amounts of wind shear as the storm moves inland. Northern part of India, there's high amounts of shear over there, but the storm will probably be no longer with us by the time it enters that area. So all conditions looking very good for the storm in the next day or two until it makes landfall. In terms of the water vapour imagery, you can see the storm's influence extending all the way up to Bangladesh and towards the western coast of India as well, dry air to the northwest. Looking at the computer models, the CMC, fairly straightforward really, isn't it? The storm moving into India but then curving towards the north, moving towards the border with Nepal, but the storm will very much be no longer with us by then. We may also see a new tropical storm forming in the western Pacific near the Mariana Islands, according to that model. The GFS has a similar scenario with Hudhud, the storm moving inland towards central India and then moving towards the north before dissipating completely. You can also see the progression of Vongfong there as well on those model runs. The latest satellite imagery then, looking at the past few hours on there, the storm, as you can see, slow moving, a bit more of a wider shot, a bit more of a wider view of the scale here on these satellite imageries as the storm moves towards the northwest generally. The eye is rather well defined, even though the satellite images aren't the best around this part of the world. But a Category 3 storm, winds of 125 miles per hour, gusting to Category 4 intensity. Certainly going to be a very strong landfall indeed, almost akin to Phelan of last year, if you remember that one. But slightly different to that one. Phelan was a Cat 5. This one is not likely to reach that intensity. It would take quite something, wouldn't it? Looking around the world right now, we have subtropical storm Faye, a 60 miles per hour subtropical storm likely to brush past Bermuda. Tropical storm warnings in effect there. Of course, we have Hudhud even, and we have Vongfong, which is likely to move over Okinawa in Japan in the next few hours. So we have 3 significant storms affecting inland areas as we speak. 65 tropical storms have formed around the world in 2014 worldwide. 36 of those have become Category 1 hurricanes or their equivalents around the world, 74 miles per hour sustained winds or higher. And Hudhud becomes the 22nd to become a Category 3 storm around the world. That's one more than in 2011 and level with 2007. You can visit Force 13 on any of its 6 outlets. The website, force13.com, will keep you most up to date with all the goings on around the world, tropics-wise. That's when I'm not ill, at least. The video pages, YouTube and Daily Motion, Force 13, just search Force 13 on there. Regular updates whenever there are land areas at risk. And of course the social pages too, Facebook and Twitter, regular updates around the clock, well, as much as I can. Just search Force 13 on there, at Force 13 on Twitter, and you can speak to me personally on Skype, add Force 13 on there for tropical weather chat if you wish to speak to me personally. The next update on this storm, if necessary, will follow in 12 hours time, but that's all for now.